How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of The Opinion. And man, the silly Lomachenko and Devin Haney fight is now over. Devin Haney retains his title by way of unanimous decision. But that's where the controversy starts, right there with this fight. As great as this fight was, back and forth, a technical chess match on both sides. So if you are the type of boxing fan that likes a chess match and you haven't seen this fight, you might want to tune in. You might want to go catch the replay of this. And if you saw it as it was happening, you witnessed one of the better chess matches and technical chess matches that we've seen in a long time, because they say styles make fights, and the styles between these fighters definitely made the fight as well. But Devin Haney, the judges ended up giving the score. I mean, the boxing match, lost my train of thought there, but the boxing match went the distance. It went 12 rounds, and Devin Haney ends up winning by unanimous decision. But like I said, that is where the controversy starts, because Devin Haney, when the fight did start, midway through the fight, it did appear as if Devin Haney was landing the more solid shots, especially with his consistent work to the body, as well as being able to work upstairs as well. But as the fight got into the championship rounds, 10, 11, maybe you could even say 12, that is where Lomachenko decisively started to take over the fight. 10 and 11 were Loma's best rounds of the fight. 10 and 11 between both fighters, 10 and 11 were as decisive of rounds between both fighters as I can think of. Because when Haney won rounds, it seemed as if those rounds were still close. There was one in particular round, I think it was maybe the third or the fourth round, that Haney won decisively. But other than that, when Haney won rounds, it seemed as if the rounds were close. But when Loma won those rounds in the 10th and 11th, there was no question, except for Dave Moretti, who actually gave the round 10 to Haney. But other than that, there was no question who won those rounds. So at the end of the fight, it kind of left people thinking, okay, maybe Loma got away with this fight barely, maybe by a round. And at worst, if the judges didn't see it that way, at worst, it was going to be some type of majority draw or something like that as well. Nope. At the end of the day, Devin Haney wins by unanimous decision. And that's where some of these people, the people in the crowd, they were booing. They were saying that, hey, this fight was a robbery. Now, I'm going to tell you why I don't think it was a robbery. But I will tell you that I think Loma may have edged Devin Haney, or at worst, it may have been a draw. Because Devin, you can make an argument that Devin Haney did come back in that 12th round and possibly did win that 12th round, although it was not decisive. But he definitely didn't get blown out like he did in rounds 10 and 11. But reason why it wasn't a robbery is because you have to remember, even though Loma did win rounds 10 and 11, if Haney somehow won those rounds early, you can't look at what Loma did in 10 and 11 and then go back and change your mind as to what happened early in the fight. And Haney was consistent to the body. He landed like 50 body blows, and Haney was consistent to the body. His body shots that he landed on Loma, they did fade late, but he was consistent. I think, in my opinion, I can somehow in my mind look at it and say, okay, I can somewhat see how the judges got to giving Haney possibly the fight, but maybe not all three judges. Because like I said, there are three judges here, and I know each and every one of us, we look at the fight and we basically turn in our card and we're just one person. But there are three judges. And so Dave Moretti, 116 to 112, although that's one round difference between the other two judges that had it 115, 113, that seems like that seems like the judges were miles apart between what Dave Moretti had and what the other two judges had in this fight as well. So, if Haney would have won maybe by majority decision, or if the fight would have been a majority draw, or even if Haney may have won by split decision, I think people would have said it was a robbery at that point in time, but I think people would have been able to live with it better. But with the unanimous decision, that's kind of the way it goes. And hey, that's boxing. If you don't take the champion out and you leave the rounds close, then oftentimes the judges will then side with whoever's the champion, and that's just the way boxing is. But like I said, in my opinion, I do think Loma may have edged him just by a little bit as well. And the reason I say that is because I think judges should be able to give some rounds 10-10. And I think some of those early rounds, when it was unclear whether Haney took the round or unclear whether Loma took the round, because both of them, like I said, it was a chess match. Both of them had their moments. why can't the judges just give some of those rounds a 10-10? And then essentially when we get rounds later, like what Loma had, that right there more so breaks the tie versus judges being forced to give a 10-9 round either way, even when the round was very close as well. So that would be one of the changes that I would like to see judges kind of look at a little bit more, is be open to giving a round a 10-10 round early in the fight, especially if it's close. If it's really close and you don't know who won and both fighters had their moments, score it a 10-10 round. And then when we get later into the fight, whenever one fighter or the other has some decisive rounds, that will break the tie, because at the end of the day, whenever a judge has to give it 10-9, 10-9, 10-9 one way or the other, and the rounds are close, a judge could very well give the same fighter 10-9, 10-9, 10-9 in the first 3 rounds, and you don't even know it. And then those first 3 rounds is what made the difference later in the fight. And I think that that's what happened here when Haney was landing those body shots. That was, for the judges, I think that was the deciding factor in those close rounds early on at the end of the day. But what do you guys think the final decision should have been? Do you agree with the decision? Do you disagree with the decision? Do you think it was a robbery, or do you just think the fight should have been a draw as well? So, and then from there, would you like to see a rematch? I know I would, but let me know what you think. Subscribe down below, because I'm going to have more boxing talk coming, NBA talk coming as well. But other than that, I'm out.